This is Houston Newsmakers with Cambrell Marshall.
And good morning and welcome to Houston Newsmakers. And good morning again to Congresswoman Sylvia Garcia representing the 29th Congressional District. Good to see you this morning, Congresswoman. Congratulations on winning your race. You did that quite handily, more than 70% of the vote in a three-way race. So what does that win mean for you now as you promote your priorities for your district?
Well, first of all, thank you to all the people who gave me such great support, and to my family for always being there with me. And, you know, it's just an honor for me to continue my service in Congress. And I will be about the same things that I've always been about. It's bringing good jobs to the area, keeping our families together, making sure our kids have a good education, and reducing the price of prescription drugs and improving access to health care. So it's really important that we continue on this right course. And how great it is that now I will have a friend at the White House who shares a lot of our values of family and faith and service that will keep America back together, building back better, and looking toward the future.
Let's talk about that for a second, because the election of November 4th was, of course, a very big deal. President Trump becomes the first president since President Bush 41 to lose after a first term. Your thoughts on what made the difference and the reluctance of some of the colleagues, so many of the colleagues from the other side of the aisle at this point who still have not acknowledged the Biden-Harris win?
Well, you know, I think it's tragic that the president has yet to concede, and that he's got so many allies around him who are also failing to recognize what the voters have done. I mean, this is about honoring the will of the people. Over 75 million ballots were cast for Joe Biden. Historic numbers. No other president has ever gotten that many votes. You know, we all thought Obama had set history. Well, Biden did even more. And Biden is a person with a big heart, someone who will be there to make sure that we beat the virus, that we get safely back to work, our children safely back to school, and that we get our economy recovering again. You know, that's what's important. And I think that's why so many Americans voted for Joe Biden, because they trust him and they have faith that he will make beating the virus the #1 priority. He'll have a plan, and he'll have a plan for vaccination and a distribution of the vaccine to everyone who needs one. So I think it was about the virus and it was about the economy, and they go hand in hand.
Well, let's talk about that for a second. The president has consistently downplayed COVID and the impacts in the United States. He did that throughout the campaign. He admitted that to author Bob Woodward, and now with increased cases of hospitalizations and deaths across the country, what are your biggest concerns now? You talked about some of the things that President-elect Biden plans to do, but what are your biggest concerns, and what are you prepared to do about it, especially for our region here where numbers are starting to go up as well?
Well, you know, our numbers are beginning to be worse. They always have been for me, because, as you know, minorities and are always disproportionately impacted. You know, in Texas, Latinos are about 40% of the population, although we're about 56% of the deaths. Texas is already a million case state. We've hit 1 million, which is horrible. You look at El Paso and what El Paso is going to. I talked with my colleague, my comadre, Veronica Escobar, who is the House member over there. She said they now have 10 temporary morgues. They are just being devastated. We've got to make sure that the governor reacts and starts really taking this seriously. Because if we don't watch out, we're going to end up going through a second phase this winter. So I will continue to work in Congress to make sure that we get the dollars that we need for testing and tracing, that all our clinics have tests, that our people all over can get the masks, that we encourage people to use their masks. You know, you said, I saw your promo earlier about people needing to wear their seatbelts to save lives. Well, we've got to wear our masks to save lives, especially those of our loved ones around us. You know, it's sad when we have more cases of coronavirus on the president's inner circle then we do have cases of voter fraud. You know, that's just ridiculous. We need to make sure that we beat this virus. It's got to be the priority for the president-elect, and it's got to be the priority for every member of Congress.
You made a comment about the governor needing to get serious about it. Well, he says he is getting serious. He's very confident. He's talking about the things that the state is doing. You tend to disagree with the fact, with what he's saying about what he's doing for the state?
I thought from the beginning that the governor opened up the state too early. I thought from the beginning that he needed to have a mask order statewide. You know, it's great that you're trying to do it based on the number of cases in a county, but the reality is this: people travel. I mean, I went home last weekend to South Texas. I wear my mask, but what if I didn't? And what if I had the virus? Well, then I may have taken it. I could have taken it to South Texas, or when my nephew comes to visit me. People travel all the time. Right. You know, we do it with our restrictions. We do it responsibly, but there's still that slight chance that we might end up spreading it. So we've got to be very careful. And I think we need to let the county judges do their job. You know, they actually filed a lawsuit against the county judge for saying that he wanted to shut down parts of his county. That is absolutely ridiculous. Every county knows its local needs better. We should let them do their job. He's still, I think here in Harris County, he challenged Lina Hidalgo on the closing order. He challenged her on the mask order. Why? Again, county judges know their areas best. We cannot be governed by Austin on these local issues. It's about our health and safety, and I know that Judge Hidalgo and all our local officials are doing everything they can to make sure that we can beat this virus. Speaking
of doing their jobs, in the couple of minutes we have left, we talk about President-elect Biden getting more votes than anybody else. President Trump got more than 70-some-odd million votes as well, and that would have been an historic number too. So how does that change the way you go back to govern, knowing that many people in this country really agree with the Trump administration and what they've done, as opposed to what you and the Democrats want to do?
Well, I focus on the win and the mandate that President Biden will have, because, again, it's a historic number. And not only in terms of the votes, but the total votes that he'll have. It's a mandate. I mean, I think that when you again repeat what you said in your intro, this is no one has not won re-election since was it
Bush 41?
You said Bush 41. So it was not just a defeat; it was a humiliating defeat. And you know that because he's been hiding at the White House now for, 2 weeks? He hasn't conceded. He's frankly being like this, a kid who knows they did wrong, but don't want to admit it. You kind of wish that some mother or father would come along and, kind of bop him over the head and say, wake up, be responsible, be an adult, be a man, accept it. The country needs a smooth transition. It's about our democracy, and it's about the future of this country. So I hope in the end that we will have a transfer of power that is smooth, and that is the hallmark of the democracy that we have in our country.
Congresswoman Sylvia Garcia, thank you for joining me this morning. Good luck as you continue to represent your district and the United States of America. Thank you very much. We appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
Just ahead, you've heard